Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESOC TV Twitch stream. This is going to be the Autumn Championship semi-finals. Hazza54321 versus Snow. The winner of this series will progress through to the grand finals. And let me just flick up the overlay so you can see that. This is going to be a fairly close match. The betting has resulted in a 53% to 47%, fairly equal. So not like that last series I casted with Wicked Cossack. So we're up for a pretty good game here. Looks like the players are ready. Hazza's just clicked in now. We will have India versus Sioux for our first matchup. I'm here today, of course, with Mitoe. My name is Interjection. Mitoe, how are you doing?
I am doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm very good. I'm excited to be casting again. Now that the summer's over, I'm just pleased that I won't be working so much. I'm going to have a lot more sort of extra time, not going to be working crazy hours, and hopefully we can get back to this Age of Empires 3 thing, especially with the run-up to the Definitive Editions. So I'm kind of pleased about that. We will put the donation bar on in just a moment. Don't worry, Queen. Don't worry. But, spawning in the south of the map in the colour red, we do have Hazza54321. Here he is playing as India. Let's put Control-Shift-F on. The elephants are right off. Comes across 30 XP. And let's turn the Control-Shift-F off. See if the other elephant will find anything here. Nothing just yet, but Green, the Sioux war chief, straight across the map, hasn't found anything worth stopping for yet. Zoomed past 50 wood. And that same treasure, that tiny little XP treasure there. But both out on the map straight away, getting a couple of cows. India, though, I think the more important thing, no treasures right away that they'll be going for, is that the trading post is being laid down.
Don't mean to cut you off, but it looks like we might want to consider restarting for hunts, maybe? Hazza seems to have a little bit less food than Snow, so we should ask him if he wants to restart. I feel like he might not even want to be honest. He's gotten, I think, a pretty good start so far, so...
Alright, you can...
I'll just let him know.
You can do that. Okay, so Snow picks up 85 wood during the meantime with his Sioux war chief, and does manage to find 3 yaks as well, so he's going to be pretty pleased with that. It looks like Hazza is going to want to restart. So, one full start. To be expected, sometimes can happen. Let's turn the Age of Empires 3 volume down. Alright. I'll just do the whole intro again for the sake of the YouTubes. Actually, no, because I'm casting, so I'll be editing it, so...
One moment...
Alright, never mind. Of course, this fairly competitive match at this point in the tournament, so we're going to be wanting to make sure the maps are as balanced as possible. This is a simple get in and out sort of jobby, so we should be fine. Gives me the opportunity to do a couple of things. Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to attempt number 2. The hunts weren't quite so good there. So this time, let's get some better ones. This time, Hazza spawning on top of the map. Still in the colour red. We'll start with him again like last time. And we'll begin with the treasures nearby. 40 food, just slightly north of his base. Unlikely to find the 30 food to the right-hand side, but it is there. And 50 wood as well. So some fairly nice small treasures, which is ideal for India really with the 2 monks. But they're going to run off straight into the wilderness and search for those yaks and potentially more treasures. Comes straight across 90 wood, so he's going to be pleased about that. He'll need the other monk though to go for that, I expect. But like last time, Hazza here going to be going straight towards the trading post and slamming that down by the looks of it.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting matchup too, because... I remember we used to see this matchup quite a bit in some of the early ESOC tournaments a few years ago. Because Sioux was picked as sort of a counter to India, which was considered one of the top at the time as well. And I remember they had a pretty good success rate against India as well, so I'm excited to see how this game goes. Sioux is, of course, even a little bit stronger than they were on that patch, although so is India, so Should be interesting.
Yeah, and speaking of the Sioux, here he is in the south. 4 yaks right away. That war chief off to a nice start. He's just coming across the 90 wood here as well, so he'll likely go back for that in a moment, just briefly scouting out the opponent's base, see if there's any treasures nearby that he can grab, perhaps some returning yaks. But I think that 90 wood going to be a point of contention. Something we don't see on previous patches is the teepees, so I think that's what you mean by them being stronger. They've well, and certainly different as well. They got these both adding an aura, so these villagers going to be gathering slightly more efficiently because of that. 2 yaks, looks like Red's going to be able to steal that back, but he's going to have to deal with a green tiger. Goes in straight for the stun, and just going to leave it there.
Yeah, and these 2 civs have been sort of pretty common picks on this map throughout the tournament. India, just because they benefit so much from the wood treasures and the yaks, and Sioux as well because they have the explorer. They can just run around the map, contest all of the cows and all of the treasures very easily. If you find 90 wood treasure, you don't necessarily have to start it right away. You can just run away, continue picking up the cows and stuff like that. Keep an eye on it, and if your opponent starts it, you can run back quickly and contest it. So just a little bit of insight into the mindset of these picks, maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like I haven't seen Snow play a lot of Sioux before, but they do sort of fit the same style of play that he likes with some of his main civs, like Germany and France. They like to do a lot of semi-FFing and do the sort of the skirm cav or skirm goon compositions. So it makes a lot of sense that he'd be reasonably comfortable with them. And Hazza, on the other hand, is obviously pretty experienced with India, has played a lot of them this tournament, and they are pretty strong. So this should be a pretty close game, I think. Looks like we're going to be getting 150 food for Eric in the middle of the map. That's going to be nice for him. Meanwhile, Hazza is going to be grabbing a consolation 65 coin for him himself. And it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any sort of forward aggro or anything from Hazza either. So this could be slightly more defensive style game from India as opposed to sort of the sepoy pressure and map containment that we tend to see a lot of the time.
Yeah, let's go over what's happened so far then. So this is, we're now on our way to the colonial age. The Sioux has got his age up in queue. Nothing unusual, 3 settlers from the Sioux player that would trickle as well. Hazza's gone for that trading post, and they both got some yaks there. Both got 6, so nice and even in terms of the age 1. Often we like to say who's the winner of age 1, so that looks pretty good. Sioux, as you'd expect, picked up some pretty beefy treasures, 150 coin there, but actually, aside from that, just a couple of other smaller coin treasures, so Hazza not too far behind. It could be worse, given that the Sioux Explorer is what it is, so I'd say actually fairly even age 1 there, and both players going to be happy going into this next age. As you said, no forward aggro fort, nothing aggressive. Looks like the Carney Marty, as Zuta would say, coming down here in base, are going to go with a bit more sort of laid-back eco style to begin with here.
Yeah, especially now that Good Faith Agreements card has come in for Hazza. Because of that early trading post, he was able to send this before he reached Colonial. And this is sort of an option you have when you do manage to get a trading post early as India. And it basically allows you to get your consulate up super early. And the idea behind it is the discount on the consulate techs, or consulate shipments rather, will let you get a lot of those French resource crates out pretty easily in the colonial age. And that sort of helps you get all of your upgrades out and units out, and then follow up to Fortress pretty safely. So it's a pretty good adaptation for him, since Sioux is likely not going to be super aggressive in Colonial against India.
Yeah.
And it should let him reach Fortress a little bit more easily than he otherwise would.
So what do you think he's intending to do with it? We see that consulate going down. It's called the Advanced Consulate. Is that because of the Good Faith Agreements?
It is, yeah.
I see. And what does it do? So it supplies just some... Will you go over it for people that aren't super familiar with the card? I've not seen it played all that much.
Right, so Good Faith Agreements is a card for Asian civs that doesn't get used a whole lot. Because, of course, it's an H1 card and you don't really want to be sending it most of the time. But because he got the early trading post, he was able to send it this time. And basically... what it does, it allows you to send your sort of consulate shipments more easily, not the armies, so the 6 muskets from the British consulate, 3 hussars or anything not affected, but other things such as the French resource crates, the Ottoman villagers, like Ottoman Minutemen, petards and stuff like that, all of that stuff is going to be cheaper for India going forward in this game.
Okay.
And he's even sent 300 export as his first card, so he's going to be allying with one of those right away here.
Really
and so basically
layers.
he's going to be... Yeah, so basically he's going to be getting a lot of resource crates really early from the French consulate, it looks like.
Yeah. Looks like 5 bow riders turning up here. So opponent started with an early stable or corral. 5 bow riders now about to turn up. The monks trying to get involved there. They're low HP from a little bit of a conflict with the nice stomp. Trying to keep them here by the looks of it. Sepoy just coming out of that barracks in the back there, and now going to come in. Hopefully can get a volley off, but Snow gonna not gonna let him do that. Coming in, perhaps going to finish off or get a volley on that villager. Does not do so. Here. So actually, I think Sioux takes out the 2 elephants. He's going to be quite pleased with that, and he's moseying on out of there. Did kill a villager as well, and now going to use these 2 to pick up that 90 wood treasure that we mentioned earlier in the middle of the map that neither player quickly grabs that. Also picked up that lion, and I think we'll be waiting for the next batch of bow riders. Here they are, 5 more. They're going to group up with the current ones and then head back in for another raid, I expect. India, on the other hand, 5 sepoy out now. He's got 4 more in queue, so we'll see a few appear here. Looks like bow rider's going to come around the back, so those sepoy sort of looking for those bow riders out on the front. They're going to come across this lion here. Not quite, so they're not going to shoot that down, but the bow riders primed to come in nicely. Thankfully, those second batch of sepoy are going to be able to stay in this nice location and keep them off. That villager taking damage, now at half health. He's going around the side there. Looks like he's going to lose it, so nicely done from Snow.
Yeah, and actually losing the Sioux War Chief too from Snow, along with a couple more bow riders. So that's going to make these raids a little bit less effective, harder to get in and out without the extra speed aura there. And I imagine Hazza's probably not going to be training a whole lot of units after these 10 sepoy. Looks like he is dropping a stable now. He does have a few more sepoy in queue, but he should be pretty safe now, or feeling pretty comfortable after holding that little push. And meanwhile, it looks like Snow is already on his way up to the Fortress Age, is dropping a war hut in the middle of the map, or already has dropped a war hut in the middle of the map, I should say. And Hazza's going to be up a little bit later to Fortress here, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem for him, as he can train Gurkha in transition. But it does give Snow a little bit of a window here to maybe abuse an early 9 Wakina shipment or something like that. So we'll have to see how that ends up playing out.
Yeah, Sepoy
looks like he's going for a split raid here as well.
Oh, is he? The first 3 coming in, not being too effective. Meeting a batch of Sepoy. Does lose one of the bow riders, but second batch, as you mentioned, split raid coming through the back, going to break up those Sepoy. But Hazza is going back there, so should be fine. Absolutely. He's now up to the Fortress Age and slamming down that Wonder. Oh no, he's now, yes, pardon me, Snow is now up to the Fortress Age, and Hazza is now starting. Going to be making up for lost time with extra villagers on the Wonder there. Here, bow riders on the coast. Those elephants getting some damage in. They don't snare, remember, but the Sepoy able to do a few volleys before the bow rider escapes. And as you mentioned, that War Chief Explorer not in this group, so actually not able to run around as quickly, going to be taking more damage where it matters, and that's not ideal. So looks like that's where he's heading now, going to go pick up that Sioux War Chief. But now up to the Fortress Age, Wakina's being added in, this composition expanding a bit, and these have got some nice range, so this should be quite effective at poking the villagers, which are of course on that front gold mine. Here they go, but Sepoy coming in to respond, takes out the elephants. Almost. Settlers in the town centre. Just a bit of a poking skirmish on the front here. Just trying to be threatening.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on here. Just showing India who's boss. So might pick up this villager here. Yeah, he is going to spot it. So that villager... No, wait. Did he spot it? Okay, yeah, the villager is going to go down. He
spotted it, but it almost got away there.
So that's a nice pickup for him. 9 Wakina shipment coming out for Eric as well. So that's going to be good for him. He'll be able to put on a lot of pressure, as Hazza doesn't have a lot of units out just yet. And he is aging with the Charminar Gate as well, so there's not going to be any ceasefire ability here or any inspiration, but he does get the Mauha, which might help hold off some of these Wakina volleys, or hold off some of the Wakina from pushing and getting too many volleys off. And he had 2 shipments stacked, almost 3 shipments stacked. One is on the way now, so once those shipments come in, he should be in a pretty good position. And basically, the name of the game here for Snow at the moment is just keep Hazza in his base until those hunts run out. We can see in the back of his base, he's only got a handful of animals left to eat. And he does have a hunt on the side, but it's not totally safely herded. So Eric's main job here is just keep Hazza off of that forward gold mine in front of his base, sort of deny the hunts, and wait until Hazza sort of has to make a play for map control. And when he does make a play for map control, that's when Eric is going to want to try to shut that down. And if he manages to win the fight or even break even in the fight, it's going to be tough for Hazza moving forward here. But looks like Wakina are coming in. Going to get a volley off on a fill. Doesn't quite go down.
Yeah, a little bit of just trying to exert his presence, trying to get a little bit of siege on this consulate here, poke him with the skirmisher, see if there's any villagers that he can shoot. Thankfully for Hazza, though, disciplined Gurkha is now in, so are going to be able to retaliate more effectively with the extra damage on the Gurkha here. As you mentioned, the hunt's running out, but at the moment is okay. He will have to move pretty soon though, I expect. But let's take a look at the shipments that have been coming in. Just military units here. 9 Wakina, followed by 5 Axe Rider. Looks like Sioux, now that these Axe Riders have arrived and are up here, looks like this could be time to go in. Takes a shot at the Axe Rider. Going to get back here. A little bit of presence from both players. What's going on down the side here? A batch of 10 Sepoy heading in a peculiar direction. What do you make of this?
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't think that the Sepoy are going to be super useful in this skirm-on-skirm battle. They'll probably just get picked off really easily. So instead, I guess he's just going to opt to try and raid with them. Force Snow to send back some of his units to try and deal with that. And they do pretty well against any units he'll like to send back there, like the Bow Riders or the Axe Riders. They won't just straight up die to those or anything like that. So it's not going to be a super easy raid for Eric to deal with. And he could get a few kills out of them and buy himself some time. So it seems like a pretty good way to get some value out of some otherwise more or less obsolete units in Fortress if you're not going to be massing them.
Yeah, here we go. Bit of a fight in the middle of the map here. Axe Riders coming in, getting on straight onto those Gurkhas. Thankfully, these trees are there. Looks like, though, big stomp. Nice. Stopping, I'm not sure how much of it. It was quite a lot of units got stomped. I'm not sure how effective it really was. The elephants go down here. Just a bit of a skirmish, mostly from the ranged infantry. Let's take a look at those Sepoy in base here. Just being a bit of a nuisance, killing a villager here, starting to siege the corral. Back to the main fight, though. Villagers being pulled off the coin mine. And looks like cavalry in the back for Green are going to find it hard to get into position. Oh no, there are some Axe Riders on the front, heading through a little choke between the TC and the house there. This looks
he's
like
actually getting quite a few Gurkha kills here.
Yeah.
But there could still be a shipment coming. I believe Hazza does have a shipment on the way. It could be Urumi or something like that. So we'll have to see if Eric ends up getting caught here. But at the moment, the Gurkha number is dwindling. The Zambraks don't really have a lot to focus down anymore now that the Axe Riders are down, and some villagers even dying on the right to one of these Axe Riders. And this is a really important fight for Hazza. He is probably going to be holding this, it looks like.
Urumis pop out. Nice, here we go. This is going to clean it up. Villagers getting back to work here, and Green knows it. The Wakina trying to get out of there. The Bow Rider's already gone. Looks like he's going to clean up these few Green ranged infantry, and does hold with the Urumi shipment. But, you know, quite a good trade for Snow. Killed off a lot of Gurkhas. As you mentioned, did lose those final Wakinas, which sort of evens it up. Urumi coming out now to go to the Bow Riders. Is he going to notice? Thankfully, these move quite quickly. But no, the Urumi going to finish these up. Only just noticing now. Hazza going to be really pleased with that hold and the extra pickup he managed to get just at the end there. So let's take a look after that fight at the economies. 10 villagers up for Red as a result of some of the raid. Couple of dog soldiers here did manage to finish off those Sepoy. They've outlived their usefulness, but not before they killed a lot of villagers, resulting in a roughly 10 villager lead for Hazza. And Snow knows he's not done enough damage and does click the resign button there. Game number 1 going to Hazza. The score is 1-0.
Yeah, Eric getting a little bit overeager there, pushing in way past the town center to try and kill that army, and ends up getting caught as a result. And the entire time that fight was going on, too, Hazza was just searching for vills with those Sepoy. And without his units, without being able to commit his units back to defend, he did end up losing a few villagers. So, pretty nice play from Hazza overall.
Oh, shit, that's not good. I was changing my camera acceleration time so that it looks less jarring for casting. Let's try that.
Quick question about the UI. Do you know how to fix it if all the UI components are in the wrong location?
Yeah, you got to reinstall it with the correct resolution of your screen. You need a 1080p
Maybe
one.
my game resolution is wrong. Yeah, I have the 1080p installer, but it doesn't.
Okay. Well, as long as it's.
Do you have the installer on your computer? Maybe I have the wrong version or something.
Yeah, let me send it to you real quick.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
There you go. Discord might get a bit funny about you downloading that because it's an exe file.
Thank you. Just give me a minute here to try and fix that real quick.
Looks like Hazza going to be locking the Aztecs here. That is his civilization pick. He cannot change that now. And Snow, he lost the previous game, gets to pick afterwards. He cannot pick the Sioux. He's already used them. Let's see where he goes. The map will be ESOC Gran Chaco. A non-trading post map. So, unlikely to be picking those French and German civs that Snow is quite strong with. Or at least I've seen him play before. Let's see where he goes. How's it going, Mitoe?
I am almost done installing this. Okay, should be good to go. Alright, Aztec versus Dutch.
Yeah.
And Eric actually picked Dutch into Aztec. That's interesting. Personally, I think this matchup is pretty difficult for Dutch, but it's definitely not impossible.
How do you feel about British here? Snow is traditionally, that's a civ he really likes. Snow actually the highest rated vanilla player of all time. Certainly very good at team games as well. That's the thing he does mostly nowadays, but obviously very good at Supremacy. British being a civ he's got a lot of experience with and is very good with, and obviously on this non-trading post map could be quite effective. But electing for Dutch.
Yeah, I think Dutch is just a civ that he's really comfortable defending on overall. Like, British, maybe he's more comfortable playing sort of a more proactive role with musketeer raids and stuff like that. Or like Musk Huss sort of aggression. Whereas I think with Dutch, he's played a lot of games where he spent a lot of time inside his town center and stuff like that, and defending with skirmishers and stuff. So maybe it's just something he's more comfortable with, and he thinks he can sort of get away with that defense a little bit more easily than he could with the British.
All right. Well, let's start with him. Hazza, here he is in the north of the map here. Won the previous game, selected Aztec, locked it. And he's going to be up against the French. Sorry, the Dutch. Yes, the Dutch. Sorry, that's quite funny.
All good.
That's all right. They got the same flag in real life anyway, so... Oh, top banter. Anyway, Hazza, here he is, building his fire pit. Going to be going down right away there. Got the 3 wood crate start, so could be going for that market as well. Comes across 2 llamas right away, going to be sending them home, and this 40 coin treasure. Not going to stop for that, not really worth it. There are llamas out on the map, let's go and find them. Does manage to do so, and it's going to convert a jaguar. Probably worth doing. That nature friendship ability quite good, and we want to get it training. Here's the Dutch envoy, very nearby. He's not found anything, actually. This scouting party just comes across a native trading post, but quite barren strip of empty, treasureless land. And no llamas either. On the other side of the map, though, the explorer has a bit more success, finds 100 food. Going to be picking that up versus this outlaw blowgunner. So 2 reasonably good treasures to begin with there, picking that up and going to be getting up to the next stage quite nicely. That's going to be good for Dutch. Aztec, of course, can age pretty quick with the age fast option, can be aggressive, but here Dutch are going to be nice and safe, has the means to age up quickly. With that. Hazza, mark it down. in the back there, and hunting dogs now coming in.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't mention this before, but I guess another option that Snow could maybe have decided to play on this map as opposed to another civ like British is because of the treasures. There's a lot of gold treasures, a lot of like really strong treasures for the early game that help Dutch sort of reach colonial more quickly, get the bank up more quickly, and even help them get the rest of their stuff up in early colonial more quickly, as opposed to British, where if you're going to be stacking a lot of coin, you're probably not going to be spending it for a long time. As well as getting that extra envoy to help scout the map for those treasures and pick up the extra llamas and stuff like that was probably at least part of the reason behind the decision there.
Yeah. There he is, the envoy, as you mentioned, walking through the base. Doesn't see anything unusual, I'd imagine. Certainly no treasures just yet. Market and a war hut, fairly standard thing. Snow, with that 100 food now aging up. Going to be going up with the quartermaster there, 400 wood.
Yeah, and it looks like Eric is actually aging pretty early, but on the flip side, Hazza's actually eating 3 of his llamas. So he may be looking to click up pretty soon here. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be clicking up 1 villager early as well, or half a villager early at least. So both players going to be aging pretty early here. I think overall this is probably better for Aztec, just because as Dutch, if you do age a little bit earlier, that does mean that getting your bank up in transition is going to be a little bit more difficult than it normally would be, as you have less villagers gathering, and you often can't switch your vills to gather wood and stuff like that until after you start aging. Whereas sometimes if you do the standard sort of 15 vill age up, you can switch a little bit beforehand. And yeah, Hazza already up to Fortress Age, 3 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. Some civs don't even don't even start aging until this point in the game. So it's a pretty early age up. 2 villagers are going forward, and definitely going to be seeing something aggressive out of him.
So how come they're coming forward now rather than being in position sooner?
Well, if you look at the wood count, it looks like he didn't have.
Oh, it wouldn't have made any difference. I see.
Them.
Thankfully, though, it looks like Snow does manage to find these 2 villagers there. Going to be splitting them off. Perhaps we'll start the war hut with the villager that's not being chased or is just trying to get away and find a more secret location. Does put it down fairly close to his opponent's base mid-map here. Though Snow going to be picking up on that and going to get some siege damage right away. Make the most of that construction time. Perhaps instead going to siege. Attack the villager. I don't know, something like that. Being a nuisance in the middle of the map, though, for sure. And that is the case. 2 alligators, though. The treasure guardians from the tank is his name. I suppose that's also a description. Have been converted and going to come in here. Going to deal with this explorer. Actually, they do quite good damage. Does crack shot 1 off. That was available. And is quickly going to finish this off. But that does give time for this war chief to come in. And Green might want to head on out now. If not before, certainly with the Aztec explorer attacking him.
Yeah, look how much damage that explorer managed to do that war hut. It's down to 1300 HP already. And I don't think Hazza's going to want to invest any resources into repairing that anytime soon, just because it's not going to be under a lot of threat, and he'd like to dump those resources into units in this early sort of stage of Colonial. But it does mean that later in Colonial, if he does not repair that, and he does lose a fight or something, that he could, it could potentially go down a little bit more easily if Snow chooses to push out. So that's a pretty nice pickup for him. Doesn't lose the Explorer either. And 5 Coyotes coming out here, going to be getting onto this gold mine, forcing some idle time, looks like.
Yeah, does take off almost half, or more than half of that villager's HP there, so going to be vulnerable for future raids. Takes out the Explorer here. Villagers coming back to work. There's 1 skirmisher in this barracks here, so hopefully they won't be popping anytime soon with these coyotes quite nearby. It's going to hang around, keep those villagers bailed up, certainly taking damage from this town centre, but think of all that gather time being lost here. Pikemen pop out, 8 pikemen shipment successfully forced from Snow. These are going to repel the coyotes, of course, with that extra bonus damage. Thankfully, the speed is quite high. They're going to be able to get on out of here. Only a tiny bit of damage done from those pikemen. Pumas coming in as the next batch. Look at the siege on these things. How's going to go down there, and Snow now popped 30 out of 30. is not going to be having any more units in queue until he can get a new house up. Thankfully, though, does manage to get that batch of skirms out just before the house goes down, and that's going to prevent these pumas from doing more damage. Also has those pikemen to stop the coyotes, although there are more of them here. Looks like Mate's Halton shipment does arrive, and that is going to be a nice little power spike for the red player here. Coyotes coming forward, going to go straight onto those skirmishers, force the pikemen forward, and just a little bit of threatening going on. But for the time being, going to be relaxing, heading off, perhaps waiting for the next unit shipment there before coming back in. Market now going down for snow. Let's take a look at the text being researched. So hunting dogs coming in. But Mitoe, red's coming. Here he is, forcing the vills in. Oh no, there's one popped out.
He's not going to get any villagers, but he is going to be able to force more idle time. And this building placement from Eric is making it really difficult to defend this early aggression. He doesn't really have anything blocking that gold line. His hunt in the back of his base there is sort of running out. He sort of had the herding on that forward hunt denied, and it's not going to be super easy to get back onto that. So while his buildings are a little bit more safe, he's placed sort of the houses in the back, the racks in the back, even the market is sort of placed a little bit more safely. That does mean that gathering this from this gold mine is going to be really difficult, and that's going to be probably the focus of Hazza's aggression here once he gets a little bit more units out. And we'll have to see if Eric has enough resources to really get to Fortress Age before that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Or maybe he might not even have, he might not be able to go to Fortress Age with how exposed this gold mine is. He might have to start dropping a stable, maybe maybe train some Hussars or something like that. He is only on 2 banks as well.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a rough position for Eric to be in. And 3 warrior priests coming out for Hazza too, actually. So maybe he's aware of sort of the situation that Eric's put himself in with his building placement and with the lack of banks that he saw in front of the base. So he feels like he has a little bit more time maybe to sort of ramp up that economy a little bit and go for a little bit of a later timing.
Yeah, it looks like Hazza doing a good job on either side here. Coyotes coming in from both sides. And Villager does manage to pick one up, so certainly worthwhile. As you mentioned, Stable going down in the back here. Perhaps he is finding it a bit tough to get to Fortress and wants to play something more colonial. Hazza managed to force that 8 pikes and now this Stable as well, so probably going to be pretty pleased. I think he saw it when he went in with those Coyotes, so he knows that that Stable is a presence on the map here. Volley onto the Coyotes. Thankfully, they don't take any bonus damage there, forcing them off. A few Mace Halton. Looks like the Green Army is Green he's got a big mass now, so he's perfectly safe. But that stable already gone down. He's not going to be getting up anytime soon. And I think this colonial age is probably where Aztec wants to be fighting. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. And like these coyote raids, I don't think he's really intending to do any damage with these raids either. He just wants to, keep an eye on what Snow is up to, make sure that he's not adding any additional banks, and he also just wants to keep him on his toes and make him sort of think twice about going for an age up or anything like that. And as we can see, like, he hasn't dropped any additional banks or anything like that. Like this pressure, even though it's not like super all in or anything like that, is enough that he feels like he's not quite safe enough to invest into those resources. Even sending
3 Hussars, wow.
Even sending 3 Hussars. So he definitely is feeling the pressure, even if the pressure is not as direct as we see from a lot of other Aztec players.
Yeah, looks
Unfortunately, the Mace badge is popping out into the units here. And he's just going straight for the Warhead. I don't know if there's enough Aztec units here to defend it either. He did repair it earlier, so it will go down a little bit more slowly than Eric would have liked, but it is going to go down nonetheless.
Yeah, it goes down. Nice. It's got his big button in queue as well, but it's not going to be able to pop.
And that's a great feeling for Dutch, is when once that Warhead is down, you feel like you have so much more breathing room. You can start dropping more banks. You can think about aging. So Hazza has to be really precise in how he decides to follow up on this. He can't really allow Snow to age up to Fortress for free or get a lot of banks up for free. So he's dropping a Warhead now on the left side of the map. But that's going to be the only military building for him for a long time, and they do build pretty slowly. 1 villager going down as well. All of his resources are actually pretty exposed. Like, Snow could actually choose to push if he wants to. And yeah, this is just going to be a tough situation for Aztec, it looks like.
Yeah, looks like he had to train a few more pikemen. There's certainly more than 8 there, so has done that. Got some cavalry out now on the borders, as we saw from the stable earlier. Skirmisher mass. Yeah, this is looking pretty solid for Dutch here. Cav going in. They're going to be scared away by a puma. A few pumas. Does manage to, though, to pick off 2 villagers, so pretty nice. A few villagers up now. Green in a pretty good spot. He's going to be quite happy.
Yeah, he picked up a lot of villagers. Just now, and his 3rd bank is finally down. Just training more hussars, though, so it doesn't look like he's got any intention of aging yet. So that's still good for Aztec, but he has to be careful about losing access to sort of these hunts in front of his base. He doesn't have any safe hunts for his villagers except for this hunt over here, maybe, but he doesn't have any villagers over there right now, so if he's not careful, he could be totally forced off of resources, and once he's forced off of resources, it might not matter that he's forced Dutch into sort of this colonial style with less banks available to him and everything.
Yeah. It's looking, traditionally we see Dutch go up to the Fortress Age, and that's really where they want to be. They get that Reuter skirm composition out, but Dutch looking pretty healthy at the moment. He's going to be pleased with where he is. He's found this extra war hut on the side. He's got control of the 2 forward hunts, as you mentioned. Quite commanding position in the Colonial Age, up on economy as well, given the banks. That wagon coming in as his most recent shipment, and going to be getting greatcoats in now as well to boot. Just keep safe from those raids. Don't want to risk anything, don't let any villagers die, and just stay in this nice spot here. Even finds a couple more villagers just hidden away, tucked up here from Hazza, and he's now sort of just bleeding out, slowly losing things like this war hut, those villagers just dying out in the open there, and whilst he's massing, Dutch equally getting ahead just as much, and he needs to go out and find some hunt. If he can't stay here forever, and he knows it. This is a little bit of a problem for Hazza right now. Let's see how he handles it.
Yeah, it looks like he's just biding his time for now. He doesn't really want to fight that army straight up. Just a lot larger than his army. He hasn't been training units for a long time because of those war huts dying. And still, or actually, it looks like Snow might be trying to age soon. 700 coin has arrived. He doesn't really have a lot of food in the bank, but he does have a lot of gold, so he could think about aging soon. He has some llamas available, but other than that, he's really just forced onto these berries from these raids. So it will be a little while before he reaches Fortress. And that does still give Hazza a chance. He is still massing units. I think he is still aware that that Snow isn't really aging yet and can't really be aging yet with the amount of food he's gathering. He's been raiding these hunts a lot. He knows that Snow must be gathering off of these berries if he's getting any food income at all.
Yeah, coyotes do catch the cavalry there. He's looking for some hunts. He's looking for raids. This is where he headed to find some villages. It looks like we're going to have a fight here. Coyotes engaged. Pikemen coming forward. Puma's going to be nicely on those cavalry. No, they're going to get back. They're bleeding out. Skirmishers doing damage there. Looks like those coyotes trying to get into position to go onto the skirmishers. Looks like, though, we're just going to chuck everything in. The Puma's causing a bit of trouble for the cavalry. Most of the green cav stuck in the back there, not really being able to do any damage. The Mace Halton trying to pick off these pikemen here to keep the coyotes. A few more pumas coming in just in time as well. They're going to be able to stop the cavalry, which have now made their way to the front, coming forward. Those skirms, though, have managed to take most of them down. And actually, this looks like a commanding green victory. All the coyotes down, and now those hussars able to just jump on top of those Mace Halton and attack move them. Meanwhile, all these villagers very nearby. This not so good for Hazza.
Yeah, and going to be calling the GG, so you got to be questioning Hazza's decision earlier in the game to send the 3 warrior priests when he did. Like, he did a good job of keeping the pressure on despite sending that, but he didn't have enough stuff to defend the war hut as a result. And as a result, Eric picks up the win. And before we move on, I just want to point out something really nice that Eric actually did in that game as far as unit composition goes. And what it is basically is he didn't overmass on skirmishers. A lot of the time, Dutch sort of focus on these skirmishers sometimes a little bit too much, especially if you're playing in Colonial. So instead, what he did was he made sure he was continuously training Hussars, as they're units that are not super easy for Aztec to deal with, despite Puma doing a lot of damage to them. And he just wanted to make sure that he had enough skirms to kill any Puma that Hazza had comfortably, and then have Hussars left over to clean up the fight afterwards. And that's what gave him the win in that last fight there.
Nice stuff from from Snow. Does manage to even it up. The score is now 1-1. Two fairly short, sort of, well, it's not super short, but 2 sort of 15-minute games there in a row. Early stuff in this series. It is best of 7, so first to 4 victories. Both players got 1 point on the board, so no one going to be feeling particularly far behind at this point. And we should be up for a good series. Alright, here we are, game number 3. The next map will be Hudson Bay. So, potential, room for water, 4 trading posts. Any civ is...
Definitely a map where you can play a lot of different civs and a lot of different styles. So I'm just thinking about what Eric likes to play. It is his pick, I believe. He plays a lot of French, German, British, so we could be seeing any one of those civs. But I know that he also has played a lot of India in the past, so that's also an option open to him. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. I think if I had to guess, he'll probably be picking Germany or British. That's just my guess, but I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. And Hazza on the other side, I think, has pretty much every civ available to him if he wants. So that can be a little bit tricky if you're Snow and you're thinking about a civ to pick, because Hazza's civ pool is so deep and he's been playing so actively. So he's not really. I don't think he really feels super rusty on any of those civs or anything like that. He's probably. It's got to be difficult to sort of pick something that you feel like isn't going to get countered.
Yeah. And I suppose that's the important thing. You want something fairly solid all round. Lots of room on Hudson to really do whatever, though. It's not going to force you or shoehorn you into any particular civ or style. There's lots of room. France coming out from Snow. So
okay. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, a civ he's very comfortable with. Something he's played a lot. Quick response from Hazza there.
Yeah, it's a civ that's also pretty good in most situations, and that's kind of what I expect from Hazza in this matchup. It is a civ that he played this matchup against me as well in the last tournament round. So it's definitely a matchup he's comfortable with, and it's a matchup that's not super easy for France if they don't play perfectly. That being said, this is a TP map. This is a TP map, and there are Cree CDPs, so there's a lot of ways for France to sort of keep up with Japan's eco as well as the game progresses.
Yeah. Broom broom.
Vroom vroom indeed. So there's still a lot of room for him to play around Japan's sort of heavy eco playstyle if he needs to. And yeah, we'll have to see how he chooses to play this.
Yeah, game number 3 heading in. The score is 1-1. Very even series so far, and actually a very even betting statistics. Oh, $20 coming in from Multiplex. Good job, guys. A great tournament. Thank you very much. Bringing that donation bar closer to the 1,600 that we are hoping for the next tournament. Of course, we want to keep these prize pools consistent and have 100 for the betting competition, which feeds into my points. So thank you for donating at just the right moment as well. Yes, this is, I think, 47 to whatever the other number would be, 53%. That Snow is the favour to win, but still very, very even. Hazza, he's done very well in this tournament so far, particularly against you, Mitoe. So, are you hoping for him to go all the way? Because then you can say, I was defeated by the winner of the tournament, and you can say that and feel a bit better about your performance last time.
Yeah, I don't think I performed super well, but Hazza definitely did. And yeah, if I want him to win, I'm a little bit biased. I do want him to win, just so I can say that for sure. Um, and I think he has a really good chance of winning too. I mean, they're tied up right now, 1-1, but Hazza's definitely a strong player, as is Eric, and I think it could go either way.
Yeah, so, and it's, proven to be quite a close series so far. I think this matchup in particular is going to be good fun. France, sort of that all-rounded Civ, and then we see Hazza come in with the Japan. Looking forward to that. But here we have French in the right-hand side of the map in the colour green. Off to a nice start. Got his market down there. Hunting dogs on the way. So must have been a 100 wood start. Did not go for that trading post, but does manage to pick up this settler here. Going to be very pleased with himself. That is quite a nice unit to be getting there. Is going to use it right away to start bringing in this herd of moose. Going to bring them back towards his town. So, very good start for the green player. He's going to be quite pleased with that. Here is, though, Japan on the right-hand side. The left-hand side. Cherry Orchard now just coming home. Looks like he was doing a little bit of scouting with that. Cleaning up some of the map, trying to find some things out there. And as a result, not so good. Only finds the one sheep. Is going to come across a second. Oh, no, that's Green. Pardon me. Green doing quite well in terms of sheep. He spent quite a long time grabbing that sort of settler treasure early on there, so I wasn't going to get all that scouting. But then again, I suppose Japan's monks are quite busy as well. Actually, that's not true. They haven't been building any outposts. Sorry. Anyway, the point is, only a couple of sheep for Hazza. I was expecting to see more. But so far, shipment sent. Fairly standard stuff from Japan. That looks like heavenly kami style that we're used to seeing.
Sorry to cut you off there. Actually, I think he's sending 3 boats if you look at the deck.
Oh, yes, you're absolutely right.
Boats
there they are.
Arrived, so.
Yeah, I was just looking at that Portuguese consulate, and I thought, okay, he's just going to be doing the ordinary things we expect. But on a water map, this is quite good, right? It's like it's essentially a free villager shipment.
Yeah, and they gather, fishing boats gather fish at the same rate that the villas gather berries as a base rate, so it's essentially a 3 villager shipment for sure, and it does preserve some of that food on those berries moving forward in this game. So it's definitely a good shipment for Japan, and it's one we've started to see a lot more as sort of Japan's sort of resurfaced a little bit in the meta. I mean, people haven't been playing Japan a whole lot, but it's definitely a lot more than in the past. And one of the adaptations people have been making is sort of not sending the heavenly kami, sending shipments like three boats, 300 wood, 2 villagers. Just sort of gives them a little bit more strength and speed in the early game. And so it does mean that Hazza's economy is not going to be super, super strong or anything like that, but it is going to allow him to deal with any early aggression that Eric puts on. And I think I've played against Eric a few times as Japan with against different civs, and I know that he likes to sort of start muskets a lot, so I wonder if we're going to be seeing any sort of like musketeer style of play from him. We'll have to wait and see if he chooses to send any villagers forward. So far, nothing
fun. Yeah,
too forward aside from the villager treasure.
Yeah, but she's staying away from those CDBs for a reason, though.
Yeah, I imagine she's feeling pretty lonely as the only.
It's quite a masculine economy, isn't it?
Indeed.
But perhaps we'll see a Rax come down from her in the middle of the map. It doesn't have to move anything forward. And it looks quite innocent, really. It's a villager just found it as a treasure. It doesn't particularly signal that will be building a Rax, unlike a forward CDB, which would be a much more telling. Though we do see 2 forward CDB here. They're coming out to do a bit of herding. Doesn't look like that Japanese monk is going to find it. The explorer and the native scout in that area sort of forcing him off. So we might well see, now that he's just hit up to the colonial age, a Rax come down just waiting for those crates on that straight away. Look at that, grabbing those 400 wood from the quartermaster immediately. Got his trading post down in transition. All these nice things. He's going to be pretty pleased. Yes, there is a Rax right there. But what a start from Snow. He got that settler treasure. He managed to find the 160 XP, which is quite beefy as well. And managed to win out on the lambs. He's managed to got more sheep than his opponent. I think he's eaten a couple, perhaps potentially uncertain about that. I thought he had 4 at one point, but Rax has just gone up now. So let's switch on over to units in queue and see if it is musketeers. Mitoe, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, so he is going to be building musketeers, and basically what this does is it just allows him to siege shrines while also while also making it a little bit difficult for Hazza to defend them super easily. Like muskets don't siege shrines as effectively as pikemen, for example, but they do it a little bit more safely because they can't just get chased down by Ashy or just get shot at by the monks from range or anything like that. So it will give him sort of a little bit more safety in sieging those shrines for sure. But as they move forward in Colonial, it does mean that they are a little bit more easily countered by things like Yumi than maybe crossbows. So we'll have to see if he chooses to transition out of muskets at any point. 700 wood has arrived. Probably just going to be dropping a couple more military buildings with that. And on the other side, it looks like Yumi are coming out for Hazza. So
yeah, he's got a batch of Yumi here. There's more in queue. There's 5 about to pop by the looks of it, and these are coming straight into the middle of the map. Thankfully, though, the native scout is in there. He can see them, so he saw them approaching and knew about that. Not going to lose any musks today. That's 700 wood. He's going to be adding in the trading post by the looks of it. A couple of houses going down back in base. Potentially could get amalgamation or something like that, maybe a stable. But that wood going to be used to secure the middle of the map here. The Yumi have been spotted. Sorry, the Explorer's been spotted there, so the Yumi coming in to take him out. But does get the Explorer. Oh my goodness, the trading post up in time. Not going to be losing anything there. A little bit of combat going on in the middle of the map there. I think the musks getting a bit overexcited going in against the Yumi. There's only 5 of them, so seems reasonable. But now that the batches have merged and this Yumi mass... Rip Scout. Poor Albert. Yeah, I think he was an Albert, that one. He's gone down. Looks like the Yumi, though, are going to be quite effective against this Musketeer mass. I wonder how many shrines he's going to be able to take down now as a result of that. Yeah, look, Musk going straight down and their resolve dropping to 0. Look at them retreating. Though we do see...
Yeah, but we do have Hussars coming out.
Yeah, thankfully he's got some Ashes out. Otherwise, this would be a bit of a sticky wicket. Besterios as well.
The Ashy are not the greatest anti-cav. They do less damage in melee than other musketeers, and they're going to drop really, really fast here. But they might buy some time for the Yumi and the crossbows to get away.
Yeah.
And yeah, Eric doesn't feel super comfortable chasing those units, but it is a good pickup for him nonetheless. Lost 1 Hussar, so for 1.5 Hussar for the cost of 5 Ashy is definitely going to be feeling good about that. And it's just going to return to cleaning up shrines while he continues to mass up units.
Yeah, no, that's pretty alright. He managed to pick up those 5 there. Can start killing these shrines again. I was worried for a moment that he wouldn't be able to kill very many. You know, Musketeers have that weakness versus the Ashies. Sorry, pardon me, versus the Yumis. I suppose Pikemen do as well, but with the cavalry added in, that's not going to be the case there. And he's going to clean up some of these 3 Hussars coming out from Snow as well. So this could be a bit of a timing push. Perhaps now he wants to head in and start to do something against that army. Either way, units have arrived and they're going to be joining up with the rest of the cavalry up here. 2 more shrines fairly nearby. He's sort of hovering around this central trading post. That's the last one he wants to get. Not got quite 200 wood, but that Explorer could be building that. That's something he's certainly going to be considering. Let's take a look back in the red player's base here. Units sort of at home, just regrouping. Let's take a look at the techs he's managed to get. We've got... the final civil servants coming in now, and perhaps imperial bureaucracy after that. But Japan not slacking on the techs. The villagers are gathering reasonably well, and that's what we'd expect from Japan. Let's take a look at the French villagers there. Yeah, steel traps in and place some mines. Here we go. A bit of
Hussars are getting onto the Yumi.
Oh, those Ashes in and out of melee attack, just taking damage there. Here we go, switching back into melee mode. And now having to get back. Being used as pikemen is not ideal.
Yeah, it looks like there's not quite enough of them to force off these Hussars, and the Musketeers are just going to be getting a lot of free shots off at these Ashies. Count is dwindling. More Hussars coming in from the as reinforcements as well. Irregulars popping out to try and force away these Hussars, but he doesn't have any anti-cav to combine with them, and Eric's just going to be pushing straight in here. Going to be forcing villagers to gather. Or sorry, garrison, and there are Ashigaru in queue, but this is going to be a tough situation to hold. A few villagers going down, and Ashi have popped, but it looks like Eric's going to just try to fight it anyway. He feels confident with this massive units here, and he does not have a lot of units coming. Another batch of 5 Hussars is on the way, but it's quite a distance away, and yeah, just gonna be coming out now, I guess. Did get a lot of damage down on these villagers and a lot of idle time.
Yeah. It looks like during that fight he had the cavalry hit points active as well, so that was helping him swing that a bit. It combined it with the 3 Hussars, and he had a few, so that seemed like a reasonable time to go in. Did some decent damage. Do you think that was a reasonable trade? And now he's happy to leave, doesn't want to overextend his welcome, head back out here, finish off these couple of shrines, and just be pleased with the damage he managed to do.
Yeah, definitely. And in the meantime, he even managed to convert sort of his additional wood into an extra trading post. So he does now have the complete stagecoach line, even dropping down an outpost on these resources on the south side of the map, just in case of any Ashy raids or anything like that. So he's sort of taken the steps that he gained an advantage to make sure that he's going to be able to hold that lead. There's not a lot of room for Hazza to really try to get anything done on the map. He's got total vision across the middle of the map with this stagecoach line, does have a good economy. Even if units do sneak past that sort of line of vision, his villagers are pretty safe, and their CDB on top of that, so it's definitely looking really good for Eric. Walls even being dropped now for Hazza. Doesn't feel confident about dealing with that Musk Huss mass. And you can see, actually, he is actually going for these Musketeer raids. He does feel like the only option he has to get back into this game is to sort of deal some economic damage to Snow, or force him to commit units to defending his base instead of attacking his own base. So we'll have to see how effective they end up being. There's no outposts down on the top side of the map where there are quite a lot of CDB, but again, they are CDB, and they, like, if they choose to fight the Ashigaru, it's not that bad of a trade for them either, as long as he gets those upgrades.
Yeah, and they've been spotted. The Ashes walking past that stable. They're not going to find any villagers up here. Looks like Snow pretty on top of that, going to be moving these out. And mostly the hunts have been used up anyway. Certainly they're all dead. There's some food in them left. Looking for some villagers, not going to find them.
And seeing those Ashi at his base is going to signal go time. He knows that there's less units in the Japanese base to sort of defend this Muskas push. And these choke points are pretty difficult for the Hussars to get anything meaningful done, but he is going to be getting a lot of villagers here, it looks like. That looks like 4 vills going down, 5 vills, 6 or 7 vills almost. And going to be just chasing the units out past these Raxes as well. And yeah, this is a really good pickup for Eric. He's going to be able to clean up this entire army, it looks like. Back at home in his own base, actually are cleaning up the houses, but now that he's trading off some of these Hussars and stuff like that, I don't think he's going to be too concerned about losing a few houses when he's not already max population. And
is he getting a boat? Does he get in the fishing boat and run away? He's got 2 docks down.
I think that would be the play. But yeah, he does have 2 docks down, but unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to invest any wood into the villagers. Villagers were making a run for the coast there, but not going to be making it. But as I was saying, he's not going to be able to invest any wood into
2 funes.
Into any fishing boats, as he needs to be training units.
2 funes, the Japanese colonial. What do we got here?
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to be running those villagers away, maybe getting into the boats, or just, you know, going to be gathering on the coast where the boats can help defend those villagers.
K coming in with the $10 donation. He says, we need more money for Eric's prize winnings when he eventually wins the 2019 championships. Thank you very much, Comic K. Looks like everything retreating to the coast here. The funes are going to be the saving grace. He's going to be able to get the villagers inside, but most of them have died before managing to do so. The boats do have quite a strong 2 caravels in response here again to deal with these boats. So their broadside attacks are going to be negated. Their offshore support are not going to be helpful, but does escape into the boats, and that speed on these going to be moving off. I think there are units inside. Yeah, 14 units in one of those half HP funes are going to drop them further up the coastline out of harm's way, using them as a garrison point. But Hazza realizes that Snow is the victor here. Those 2 caravels going to negate the bonus that these 2 boats supplied. Snow definitely had them in his deck. You know, not going to get caught out on this water map. Does have water support, and it does end up being very useful. Has the land advantage there, and all he's going to do is find those villagers further, these villagers and these military units further up the coastline and take them down. Why can't you age like a normal player? Snow sticking with his colonial sort of early musks, doing some damage to the shrines, and just playing how he feels comfortable and translating that, snowballing it into a victory.
Yeah, and it all comes down to those early picks he got with those Hussars. He got a couple of really, really good trades onto the Yumi Ashi. Not quite enough Ashi to really force the Hussar off of there, and the early leads he really translated really nicely into early stagecoach, dropping down some outposts just to be super safe on his resources and stuff like that, as well as killing some additional shrines, and then managing to push that lead into Hazza's base and take out some villagers and eventually win the game. So
yeah, nicely done.
Overall.
Definitely, very well done. Pulls ahead in game number, and this was on the. Basically, he was counterpicked. Well, not. You know what I mean, like where your opponent gets to pick after you. So picked French, and then had to deal with the opponent's Japan pick. Does that and pulls ahead in this series after initially losing that first game. So Snow going to be feeling pretty confident, pretty pleased with himself. He's managing to get back in this. I'm taking a quick look at these graphs before we hop on out and move into the next game. Hazza, though, he does get to counterpick again, and we'll see if he can bring it back to 2-2. Fairly even series so far, and this is a best of 7, remember, so we've got a long way to go, but a nice early lead from Snow.
Yeah, and the next map in the map pool is going to be High Plains. Hazza greening up again into this matchup on the same map for no particular reason, it looks like. But yeah, so we are going to be seeing potentially a high trading post game. It is Hazza's pick now. And, Hazza being having the civ pool he does, we could potentially see something like Spain. He's played in the tournament before.
Spain. Oh, baby.
Maybe even Portuguese or something like that. So we'll have to see what he chooses to play. Yeah, I don't know. It is going to be Spain.
There
right?
it is.
I called it.
Spain coming out. Yeah, it's Spain. Has a very deep civ pool. He's been,
I'm going to go ahead and... Sorry, I'm going to cut you off, but I need to make sure I predict this, but I'm going to go ahead and say that Eric is going to play British into this, I hope. I'm gonna call that right now and hope that I'm correct. Okay. All right, go on.
If you're wrong, you have to donate $5 to ESOC. That's the agreement.
All right. I'll do it.
But if you're right, I have to.
That's good to me.
All right, we'll see where he goes. Currently on France, he can't play that. He cannot play the Sioux either, which he played in the very first game. And the game before this. And in the first game, we saw him play in the British coming out.
All right, you got that $5 ready?
Yeah, I will. I like to for every tournament I like to send some money over. So we should start a Patreon really, because then that just simplifies and streamlines the process. Maybe we should figure that out for the finals or something. But yeah, British coming down. And it's going to be against Spain. This is one of those quintessential vanilla matchups. I think this is going to be fun, and it's going to have that sort of vanilla theme on High Plains. It's not Great Plains, but it should be fun. So yeah, has a fairly deep civ pool. Has been playing very actively recently, and that's going to be really quite helpful, especially against someone like Snow that is mostly a vanilla kind of guy. We did see him play Sioux earlier. But as I mentioned, Snow, one of the highest rated vanilla players of all time. That's his area of expertise, and we're seeing that in his civs picks. Looks like the players have greened in, and we will be heading into game number 4 on High Plains. The score is currently 2-1 in favour of Snow. Will Hazza pick this game back up and even it out? This is a best of 7 series, so a long way to go, but I don't want to be falling behind and losing that confidence. Here we do have Hazza playing as the Spanish in the colour reds, spawning on the map in the north. The north right, as I would say. Absolutely. What do you think of the hunts?
Looks spawning on the map.
Certainly,
the hunts.
Hazza's hunts look pretty good. British hunts, he's got 2, but they are a bit further off. and they both obviously got those starting mines.
Yeah, I think we should probably restart this one. The two hunts are both close enough to both players' town centers, but after that, there's definitely a lot more food sort of situated toward Hazza's side of the map.
Okay. All right, go on. Type it.
I think we should restart this one. We can definitely get a better spawn than this.
All right. We will tap the keyboard. Hunts are not so... What clan is that? It's like in Korean.
Yes, so... I guess while we get started, I can tell this little story.
You can tell me the story now.
Basically, me and Callan and Dualcrad, Noel, we were all playing a lot for... Yeah, we were just playing together a lot like a year or two ago. Playing for, like, practicing for tournaments and stuff like that. So we started calling ourselves the Team House sort of thing. And basically, that's just, the clan tag is just Team House written in Korean.
Oh.
Because, you know, like, Koreans, like, the, sort of, like, really good at games in general and esports and stuff like that, and sort of synonymous at this point. So we thought it'd be funny to write that in Korean.
Fair enough. Right, I'm donating my $5. Here we go. Donate. Submit donation by PayPal. Alright. I changed my password recently. Let's green in. You do the intro. Mitoe intro. Can we get some PogChamps?
Okay, I shall do the intro. Should I start the intro now, or when we actually spawn on the map?
Well, yeah, say something about it being Game 4, and, you know, you can do it.
All right. So we are moving into Game 4 of the series between Hazza54321 and snowww. In the semifinals here is going to be Spain against British on High Plains. Saving EP recorded game. Going to be looking at where the players have spawned pretty soon. Just going to do a quick check on hunts, actually.
That seems better, doesn't it?
They look much better this time. Yeah. Mines look mine's not so good. Unfortunately.
Okay, well,
I'd say that mines are a lot better for
Interjection has donated $5. Thank you very much, Interjection. That definitely was me. Or was it?
Okay, let's see if we restart this game again. Alright. I will attempt the intro again.
Alright, I'd like to hear that. You gotta say what the score is and stuff like that, and just imagine someone tuning in for the... What would they want to know?
Okay, if you're tuning in for the first time, then you should know that we've been sitting here for an hour...
Restarting. Yeah, mine's no good.
My butt's starting to get a little bit uncomfortable. My cat's getting a little bit antsy. Oh wait, am I supposed to talk about the players?
Yeah, who are they?
All right. All right, this is... I believe in the spawn this time.
Believe
in spawns. Hashtag guard.
Believe in Garja. In the Garge. Believe in the Garge. Both players might have selected the colour red. What do you think of this tactical decision?
Interesting. Well, you know, if you've both selected the color red, it means when you green up, the text that warns you that you've selected the same color as another player is also red. So, if I have to analyze this with the lens of my English degree, I would say that, since red is the color of blood and there's going to be lots of red, it's going to symbolize just how bloody this game is going to be.
Yeah. What about green?
Green.
It's like
green is the color of grass,
and
fertility,
growth and
etc.
plants.
So it looks like Snow is going to be growing his economy with lots of manors and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate representation.
It also symbolizes his growth as a player, moving into the semifinals here. I believe this is his second appearance at the semifinals, so we'll see if he's grown enough to advance to the grand finals of this tournament, and hopefully take home a win for the first time. I think.
Oh baby!
As an AoE3
Stanley
player,
Winston. So. He's congratulations, Mitoe. Happy birthday! $5 from Mr. Winston. So say thank you. Can we
Thank
get
you for the birthday wishes? I am now currently sitting at like almost 2,000 years old.
It is your birthday today, right? That is true.
It is. I think I'm breaking some records on age here as well.
You've had quite a few birthdays this year.
I don't feel particularly old either.
Are you ready?
Yeah, you must be.
Yes, it is also my birthday tomorrow. So if you guys, if you don't feel like getting me a gift today, it's never too late.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Jumping into game number 4 in this best of 7 series between Hazza54321 and Snow. The match will be British versus Spanish on High Plains. The score is currently 2-1. So we will start with Hazza spawning on the top of the map in the color reds. He has 1 point here. If he wins this match, it will bring it back up to 2-2. Equal footing. Still a long way to go, but you don't want to get behind and lose your confidence and your chill and your chi. Something like that. Couple of villagers going right through the town centre. They're straight onto these crates. Double wood start. Going to be pretty pleased with that. And the War Dog and that Explorer heading off straight into the wilderness to find some treasures. Let's see what they come across. Ignoring that 30 food for the time being, just not worth getting that right away. 70 coin nearby. Could potentially go for that nice quick treasure, but seems like a safe one he can go back for and might want to find something else. Not anything nearby just now. Green, though, 80 wood. I don't think he's come across it. No, he has seen that by the looks of it. Looks like when you come close to a trading post or something like that, it illuminates it. 80 wood, there's something he'll certainly consider, but being a double wood start, Snow playing is, of course, British. Ooh, wait a minute. A trading post as British. How do you feel about this? Yes, green in the south of the map. Oh, $2 from Castetti. Cassette. AoE. Yes.
Le Castete?
That guy.
I feel like I used to know how to say that name. I don't know. Thank you for the donation, though. Yeah.
What do you think of the trading post?
So I'm not super surprised to see this, actually. I've seen Eric use trading posts a lot as British, and I'm not sure if he chooses to go for Virginia Company, but it's definitely an option available to you when you get a trading post start. You do get your 3 villagers a little bit early to sort of compensate for the 1 villager you will be missing on not having that additional manor. So that will help compensate a little bit for the vills, and then you can usually follow up with something like Virginia Company to sort of expedite that manor boom in transition to colonial here. But I think from having played against Eric occasionally, as well as having watched him play a bit, I don't think he likes to go for Virginia Company usually. So I think what this is going to do is just speed up his build order a little bit in colonial, and allow him to get sort of those unit upgrades out more quickly once he's sort of completed sort of the standard sort of British build, like 700 wood, 5 vil, 600 wood, and then straight into like unit shipments and stuff like that. Or sorry, not unit shipments, unit upgrade shipments. And that'll help a lot with any sort of colonial timing push he tries to go for against perhaps something like a Spanish FF. So that's going to be my prediction for the moment.
Yeah. Just sort of speed up that tempo a little bit, get that trading post down, make everything flow a bit more quickly. And some players like that anyway. That's something they feel more comfortable doing. Trading post going down. But he got that 80 wood treasure as well, so he's not far behind. And well, he's actually just sitting there not doing a whole lot, but certainly a good treasure for British. A little bit of a skirmish in the middle of the map with those explorers there. I think Red was wanting to go in and perhaps steal a treasure. Thankfully, though, for Snow, he'd mostly completed it by then and did manage to pick up that 75 coin treasure. Sorry, when I say Snow, I mean... Looks like somebody did steal... No, Hazza got it. Pardon me. I'm getting confused looking at the treasures there. The explorers, though, coming back close to each other. Both people now got their age up in queue. Spain will be going up slightly quicker there, but these explorers at it again.
Yeah, and if you check at Hazza's deck and the number of shipments he has, he's definitely sending advanced trading posts. So this is really good for Eric, going to be forcing him away from those trading posts. Hazza's going to have to wait if he wants to place any of those. And, I guess that's another sort of benefit to dropping this early trading post as British in this matchup, is you deny one of those TPs.
Oh, yeah, look at the second one going down. I think he realizes it too. That's interesting. British just, going to forgo their trading post forgo their manners bonus in favor of these extra trading posts. And Snow, he's going to be a real problem. Already got that second one going down. It looks like, though, he's got a couple of villagers, the red player, in position, going to be getting those final ones, and then I'll have to work on them. But not going to get that whole route, and this bonus isn't going to pay off quite as well. Wardog was trained from the green player there. Looks like, though, that's interesting. Getting a little bit of get a shot in, and then go back to building whilst the animation recharges. But 75 food is all that extra HP bonus from the age up. That's quite nice on the Wardog as well. But just basically they shadow tech, which is quite cool. How do you feel about this? It's 75 food, but he's managed to do significant damage to the Green Explorer, slowed him down, and maybe the red one will be able to catch up and finish off this fight.
Yeah, Dora the Explorer coming in here, going to be snaring the British Explorer, so he will be doing a lot of damage to that there. Is also going to spot the outpost wagon. It's going to see sort of general direction that it's heading off in, so that's pretty good for him as well. And Hazza actually dropping his own outpost down next to one of these trading posts. And otherwise, looks like he's still chopping a lot of wood, so he could... I wonder what he's going to be doing here.
100 cheer from Eddie Holland. Thank you very much. Hi, I just joined. What's up so far, he asks. Mitoe, would you like to tell him?
Sorry, I missed that one.
Sorry, continue your train of thought. That's what he wants to know.
I was sort of wondering if the 200 wood was going to be for stagecoach or for military building. Looks like it is going to be for Iraqs, though. So I'm not sure if he has stagecoach on the way already. But he is going to be training some units in Colonial before advancing to the Fortress Age here, it looks like. So it might be trying to take out one or two of these trading posts before aging, or just using those units to defend.
$7.95 coming in. I don't like it when the pot amount doesn't end up 0.0. Nice. That's what he did there. He says something about Hazza. It's disappeared now. Continue.
I am saying words. All right. Looks like we do have 5 musketeers coming out for the Spanish player, heading straight towards that trading post on the right side. Outpost is there to assist those musketeers in case any British units do show up to try to defend that trading post. Meanwhile, back in the British base, not a whole lot going on. Manors being constructed. Real estate business is quite booming in this new British colony. 5 musketeers coming out as well, going to be heading off to the middle of the map, possibly to try and siege down this trading post. If that is the case, he will find it quite difficult, as trading posts do have an attack after ATP has been sent, and going to be thinking better of that. Maybe going to go for a musketeer raid or something like that instead. He is sort of walking around this cliff here, not going to be walking towards his other TP to try and defend that, as there are additional units there. And this is looking like a sort of non-standard sort of way to play Spain, but it is definitely something you can do with the ATP option.
Yeah, this is interesting. 700 wood followed by 8 pikemen. This is definitely some sort of colonial. It doesn't intend to be going up to Fortress just yet. This is quite interesting. I'm going to be interested to see how this ends up. 5 musketeers almost walking in. Only takes 1 volley there. Does manage to finish that off. Can he get away? I think he's just out of range now, which is going to be good. And these musketeers chasing, not sieging a trading post. So that's good for him. Looks like we do have in the back there 8 pikemen and a few musketeers there. They're going to get close. I think, are we going to have a pincer movement? There's reinforcements coming.
Yeah, it looks like he was just waiting for that reinforcing batch of muskets from the racks, and then he's
Ooh,
going to use these pikemen to
nice.
sort of snare these muskets and clean them up. And this is a really good pickup for Spain here. All of those muskets going to be going down, all super low HP. John Oxley has fallen. More musketeers are coming from the British player, but unfortunately they're a little bit too late. Going to be heading back home as they mourn the loss of their fallen comrades. And Stagecoach is now finally in for Spain, but unfortunately his 700 food has arrived at his outpost, so he is going to find it difficult to age with that 700 coin shipment without that 700 food as well. Villagers are on the way to that as well, so it shouldn't slow him down too much. But yeah, now that he's cleaned up the muskets, he sort of has an open window to age up here as he pleases, and this is definitely a really good position for him. Looks like he is going to probably clean up this trading post without too much difficulty. Bring the pikemen in. Looks like he might want to try and snare them there.
Nice use of
but
cover.
With more muskets coming, I wonder if he's maybe waiting too long to continue sieging this TP. Looks like he's probably going to have to back off. Yeah, so he does actually manage to save the TP. Hussars coming out though.
That's interesting.
Going to be looking to snare this army. Pikemen are going to force them off, but he will pick off units as he forces the pikemen to retreat a little bit just to force them away. And likely going to pick up all of the pikemen here, yeah. So
they got some work done though. They managed to facilitate that trade earlier, kill off a bunch of musks, and then they did good siege damage. Good use of that 8 pikeman shipment. Traditionally though, not great unit shipments for Spain offensively. Just those heavy infantry, those basic pikeman rod arrow shipments can it's not like it's a ranged infantry shipment like a musk or crossbows, which is usually probably more effective. Certainly for a lot of civs. Here, going to be sieging down that house. Looks like he's managed to save it though. Rodelaro's coming out. House is going to go down due to a batch of reinforcing musketeers. He's not going to be able to go in there. Possibly going to lose a second one here. More musks joining the fray. This is looking like a pretty big British army, and he's got 2 batches of units in his base, and sort of two batches of musks heading towards. This could be tough for British. Sorry, tough Spain. Going up against British in colonial is
yeah, definitely not something you want to contend with for too long, especially now that the upgrades are coming in for the British player. But he looks like he is going to be just fine. Did lose a couple of houses and a little bit of idle time there, but he is going to be able to hit Fortress Age pretty safely, looks like. Might lose a trading post in the middle of the map, but overall I don't think he's going to be too unhappy about this outcome. The real question is, what does Eric do now? He's taking his 2nd Musketeer upgrade now. He's continued to mass units. He's not really stockpiling any resources, so it looks like he's just going to be... Looks like he's just going to be staying in Colonial for the moment.
Yeah, he's going to be building that trading post there after killing it. And he sees his opponent hits up to the next stage. He's rushing right over towards the Spanish base before the first shipment can arrive. And before the technologies can get in. Let's take a look at the text being researched. Yeah, veteran musketeers in queue. So Red going to avoid any fights until that happens. And of course, falconets will be arriving soon. Here we have $2 and a penny from Stanley Winston. Donate again if you like it, ending on .00. So does that mean he'll donate again if somebody else does? Thank you very much, though. Seriously, we're getting closer towards the goal. Veteran Musk's in now, and there's the 2 falconets.
Yeah, so veteran Musk's going to be making it a little bit easier to contend with this army. And actually, if you look at Eric's resources,
raid in the back, Mitoe.
Yes, this is actually a pretty big raid. Not going to be picking up any villagers. Looks like might get one. Is not going to get 1 villager, but he will force
fight in the middle.
A few units back as well.
Those falconets are going to be basically what he needs here. Thankfully, a few more reinforcing units. Those cavalry trying to get around the side, but going to be met by Rodelaros and Cav. They're scared away there. Oh no, the cavalry from the raid are coming in. This could just end the game. He needs these cannons to stay competitive. This is what's keeping him alive. They both go down, and now British Army just going to clean up what's left here. This is a big deal for Red.
Yeah, and Cav HP coming in now as well. Going to be making these Hussars a little bit harder to deal with. And yeah, it looks like he's going to be cleaning up most of the army. There are some more veteran musks coming, so it's not the end of the world for Spain, but that definitely hurts him a lot. Minutemen coming as well. Meanwhile, on the other side, after picking up this good trade, Eric has started stockpiling resources, sitting at almost 1,500 food. Does have 1,000 coin now, and he will be aging up to Fortress himself with 2 falconets available to him once he does reach there. But that is going to take a while to get there. It does take almost 2 minutes to reach the Fortress Age. And in the meantime, does he have enough units to defend these veteran muskets? For the moment, it looks like he does. 5 Lancers have come out, though, for Hazza. Stable is coming down. Skirmishers now out as well. And I wonder if Hazza's even going to push with these units, though. Like, he's seen a lot of units from Snow. He doesn't necessarily know that the British is aging right now. For all he knows, British could still just be massing up units. And if he tries to leave this base too early without enough units, he could be in a lot of trouble. So it looks like he's going to be biding his time a little bit, trying to find out what exactly Eric is doing. There is a small raid on the base here. Is going to spot the army. He might notice the lack of hussars, which might be sort of a giveaway that Eric is aging. So he will be pushing into the little map now. Will be taking out this trading post and probably rebuilding it for himself. No, looks like he's
a little bit concerned.
Yeah. Not confident to take that trading post down just yet.
That's exactly the trouble. Oh, meeting with a couple of Dragoons, perhaps. He needs to be confident because he has that tech advantage. He needs to push the fact, but he could be afraid of Snow's army and being caught out. But the trouble is, you're up against British, and it's always not a good time. They've always got that booming potential, just even if they don't, just passively making manor houses when they need more population. He's just ahead, right? And the longer this goes, the worse it gets. Dragoons do manage to take out a hussar. A little bit of a raid here, just distracting Hazza. They do notice the size of the army as well, but I think mostly Snow just going to get up to the next stage. He's going to get fully aged. He's going to get the veteran tech in. He's got 2 shipments. He's got a shipment and a half available, and he's going to have no trouble getting the upgrades and those military units out from his home city, and then he'll be in a really, really nice spot. So he manages to get up uncontested and unpunished.
Yeah, and this is really, really good for him as well. Veteran Musketeers is on the way. Likely 2 Falconets going to be arriving shortly. And once those Falcons have arrived, it's going to be really tough for Spain to deal with without Falcons of his own. He does have an artillery foundry up now, and he is training Falcons, so he will have something to contest that. But the rest of the army is going to be a lot smaller and less upgraded than its British counterpart. So 1,000 wood coming out for Hazza. He's going to have to get a lot of value out of these Falconets if he wants to sort of have a chance of winning this game right now. Looks like he's only going to be getting out 2 of them by the looks of it.
We will see. Dealing with the Hussar up in the north of the map. The Explorer here. 620. Oh, he's there. He's going to fend off the raid single-handedly. This outpost, though, still looks like it's going to be taken out now by the Musketeers. Those cannons getting into position to dump some volleys. Yeah, turning now.
And actually 3 Falcons coming out for Spain, so...
Oh, where did he get them from? Did he make them?
He does have an artillery foundry, yes, so...
Let's see.
These Falcons are going to be what he needs to... Oh, wait. He is going to get a volley off on...
Yeah, because, Snow's not going to be expecting something like this, though it does manage to even it. Wait, has he only got... Oh, I thought 2 had died. Thankfully not the case. Does manage to take out both those Falconets and has 2 of his own left. 1 fairly low HP here. And this is what's going to even this fight out. This is going to be quite good. Mostly, in fact, a purely infantry army. There are no cavalry here for the red player, and it could be really tough to deal with 2 Falconets and all these skirmishers. And as a result, yes, going to be retreating there. 1 final volley, and Spain might be back in for the running. That's why he wasn't pushing earlier. He was busy collecting resources to make a foundry and get some Falconets out. So this has brought him back in the game. Neutralized those 2 cannons from the British home city and can continue onwards now. Thing is, though, this army is very susceptible to cavalry, so that could be trouble. Foundry of the British own going up there, and we'll see what he puts in queue. Falconets, so no culverins here, going to be going with Falconets, but this is interesting. We see foundries coming out for a change, hoping to recapture this route and get his economy back on track. But British still in a very nice spot. He's got 200 200 population, so all those manors are out. He's got a couple of trading routes, had them all this time, and he's gotten that native trading post over here, the Cheyenne settlement, so can ship some hunts, which he's already done so, and doesn't need to venture out, doesn't need to be vulnerable on that map. British going to be pretty happy, even though he lost the cannons. But I think Spain, as a result of that falconet play, is in a reasonable spot too.
Yeah, falconet's definitely what he needed to get himself back into this game. 2 more coming out from the foundry, but on the other side, 3 have popped out for Snow as well. So this is going to be another explosive fight. Looks like the mass is heavily in favor of Eric. So if these falconet trades do not go well for the Spanish player, this could be the end of the game.
Yeah, they need to go well here.
Yeah, one cannon going down for the British player, focusing down the Spanish cannons with his infantry, though. He knows that if these cannons go down, there's not much else that Spain can do. All the falconets are down now. Goons on the falconets for Snow, but not going to be taking them out.
Oh, very close.
There are still 2 falcons left for British, and this could be the end of the game. This could be the end of the game for Spain. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any more falcons in queue. Doesn't really have access to the resources to train a lot more of sort of normal units. You know, he doesn't have access to a lot of hunts. He's sort of just run out of hunts on the right side of the map. Hasn't yet begun gathering any of those bison on the left side of the map next to that second town center. And now with
Comet K 998
pushing across the map. Sorry, continue.
Go on. I know, just a 998 donation from Comet K and 100 cheer from Eddie Holland as well. So thank you very much. If everyone cheered right now, we would get, how much would we get? 328 cheer if everyone gave 1. I don't know if everyone has cheer. How do you get cheer? Do you have to? I think you buy it from Twitch. Anyway.
I honestly don't know, but that sounds like something you probably do. Either way, though, British Army is pushing into the main base here, is going to be forcing these villas off of this gold mine, and I don't know what the play is for Spain here. He does have culverins in queue. 1,000 food has come out, but, you know, even if he gets these culverins out, I suppose he has skirmishers against muskets, which is pretty good, but on the flip side, he is getting raided on these hunts from musketeers. He's got musketeer raids on the right side as well, and even if he manages to clean up this army, he's not out of the woods yet.
No, this is a big mass here. Dealing with 3 falconets, even if one of them is low HP, is going to be quite tough. That culverin, being quite effective, does manage to He's going to take down one there. That takes down both of them. Slight area damage coming in really effective there. But Green, he knows this culverin's a threat and takes it out there. The infantry going straight on it, focusing it down. Did manage to take out most of the cannons though, but that final one still going to be a nuisance. There's just so many green infantry here, and these skirmishes, although they can kite them and be a nuisance, it's just so many units to deal with. Going to be sieging this down there. Hazza notices this and does resign. Nice 20-minute game there, and the score now, Snow pulling ahead after losing the very first one in this series. The score 3-1. Going to match point now. Snow can take the series if he can win this next game. So this, a fairly interesting semi-final. A colonial start from Spain, but but you know, always tough against British. You know, a strong civ, very comfortable in the colonial age.
But you know, that sort of colonial start might have been a little bit forced out of him by Snow, building those early trading posts with the one at the very beginning of the game and one in transition.
Yeah,
it meant that that ATP advantage was not actually going to be as much of his advantage as maybe he would have liked. Not going to be able to sort of leverage any additional eco off of that without taking out those trading posts. So maybe he felt like because of that, he had to commit some resources to H2 and taking out those trading posts and sort of claiming more of the line for himself and before hitting Fortress. Whereas maybe if he'd gotten 4 or 5 TPs instead of 3 TPs, maybe he would have just gone up to Fortress right away. And so as a result of him being forced into staying H2, or starting in H2, I suppose, it did give Snow a little bit more time to mass units and prepare for a sort of stronger timing push than maybe he otherwise would have had.
Yeah, and that does result in a victory overall. It was nice to see those early trading posts from British. often you don't. Often the manas are just something they prefer to go for. But perhaps that's, you know, a good hedge against Spain or any civ that can get the advanced trading post on a map like this. You just, you know, you're not going to be that far behind from making trading posts instead of manas, and you sort of deny that option to go ATP, which has traditionally been very strong in the past. So nice to see from Snow. Does take a victory there. Score is 3-1. Let's head on out and see if he can win this next match, or if Hazza will pull it back.
The next map is going to be Kamchatka, and all civs are available to both players on this next game. So we're sort of returning to sort of that classic, Kamchatka map, sort of the first map that Garja ever made, that was sort of rebalanced for competitive play. And I think a lot of people have a lot of fond memories of watching and playing games on that map, so this should be pretty fun.
Yeah, I really like Kamchatka. This will be good.
So I believe it is Eric's pick now, correct? Yes, I think it is. Okay, so he could stick with the British if he wants to.
Oh, it's alternating picks. I always seem to think it's whoever won or lost.
It is alternating picks. So he could stick with the British here. That is definitely a civ that is quite strong on Kamchatka, but definitely has a lot of options available to him. And yeah, I'm not sure what to really say here. I think Kamchatka is another one of those maps, sort of like Hudson Bay, that has a lot of options available to it. A lot of options available to each player. It doesn't have water like Hudson Bay, but it does have a lot of the other sort of features. Map control is pretty important without being like sort of like a game ender if you don't have map control. And there's goats and stuff like that, and really good treasures. Hunts are pretty. There's not tons of hunts, but there's not like a lack of hunts either. And it should be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I feel like I did a really poor job of explaining everything that's viable on this map. Maybe because there is a lot of viable options. Haha.
Yeah, I like the green one. I don't like the winter version of this map. We're gonna get the winter version now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think you have jinxed it. But personally, I do not mind too much. But I do like the summer version a little bit more. As a spectator, I think the choke points with the rivers really makes the game more interesting.
Yeah, sometimes
a lot of the time.
Sometimes wintry maps like fucking Siberia, man. Like you're just looking at it and it's just. If you have the bloom effect on in the settings menu, it's like shining brighter than the sun, like in your eyes. You're like, it's blinding. So hopefully we get the.
Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately rather, I have not experienced that, as I have always ran the game on minimal graphic settings. So maybe that is why I like those maps a little bit more than you do. However, I do have a new computer now, so if we end up on Winter Kamchatka, maybe I will also be cursing the AoE3 gods.
It's only with bloom effect. If you turn that off, it's fine. It's just so white and bright because like everything's like shiny with the bloom effect's really nice on ordinary maps because you get like the glint from like all of the units' armor and stuff, and it looks really cool. But yes, I think we have a Civ reset now, so we'll see whatever come out.
Yes.
Snow will be picking first.
I'm not sure. I don't know if I can predict this one, but I'm gonna say, I think he will return to Dutch. No. Yes. No. Okay. That's my final answer. Yes, he will return to Dutch this game, and Hazza will counter with India. And if I'm wrong, I guess I'll donate $5 to the ESOC because that'll make it fair.
I could have just been lying, I could have just gone, Interjection donated $5, yeah, and then you would have thought that I had, and you wouldn't know.
That's true, and then I would have checked the Twitch chat, and Twitch chat would have been like, okay.
Yeah, I guess the Twitch chat Twitch cat? Yes, they can hold me accountable.
Yes, indeed. He appears to be taking a lot of time to think about his pick anyway, so I don't know if that indicates whether he's more or less likely to pick Dutch. Darn it. Sure would have been my second pick. All right. All right, where is the donation button?
And Spain coming out from Hazza. Oh, actually, that was his previous civ, wasn't it? I'd quite like to see Spain again. That would be quite fun.
It would be, but I suppose it wouldn't be that bad against Germany. But ATP would definitely not be something he would probably like to do on Kamchatka in particular.
No.
So you would have to play it a little bit differently. And
Yeah,
I think,
he's got Spanish gold. We could see some Spain, some interesting stuff.
Yeah, I feel like he's not going to, though, sadly.
You don't know that. You don't know that. He's not picked it yet.
Oh, the Sioux.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Sioux currently has a 100% win rate in this series.
Yeah.
Forget the rest of the tournament. I don't know what its win rate is in the next tournament. But one game has been won with Sioux already in this series, so.
Yeah, that's not, you're not wrong. Oh, $5 from Mitoe. I will never predict civilization picks ever again. Nice.
There goes my lunch money. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
No lunch for Mitoe. It's alright, I'll ship you 700 food. Alright.
Wait, did you say you're gonna ship me 700 food?
Yeah, I'll send it from my home city. But Mitoe, we're going into game number 5. This is potentially match point. Snow sitting on currently 3 victories. And this could be the 4th one that he needs to win this best of 7. Hazza has 1 point so far. The score is correct at the top there. So potentially match point here. Can Hazza bring it back? He did win that first game. He pulled ahead at the very beginning of the series. But Snow on a roll here. All 3 in a row. This looks a lot like Siberia in terms of spawn points and everything. So we'll see how this goes. It is, however,
will
Kamchatka.
now be turning Bloom Effect off. So
Have you got it on?
I do have it on. All right.
Yeah, it's quite bright, isn't it? It's like looking at the sun. You don't really want to stare at it for too long. You probably should get some sunglasses and have fun with that solar eclipse. Wow, that is a fast-moving explorer. Finds 2 goats right off the bat. Gets going to be really nice and converts a tiger right away. Going to grab himself this 80 coin up here. Sioux Explorer able to do that nice and quickly. Make use of the nature friendship ability and finish that tiger off there. Going to pick that up nice and early. 50 wood to Snow. Also a pretty good treasure. And bringing home a goat as well. So currently 2 goats to 1. Not too far behind. But I anticipate Snow pulling further ahead as time goes on. Yeah, there's going to pick one up right away there. Finds another 40 wood treasure. Doesn't have a crack shot or anything available. But is going to go for it anyway. Doing that here. Sioux really nearby, so Hazza could well go for this. I don't think he's realised. I don't know if Green can see that Hazza is in the area, so just going to wait for the lion to go down, or the leopard, whatever it is, and then mosey on in and steal that treasure, as Sioux can do. No one can... No. Oh.
I think Eric actually got it, so...
He did. Nice
Unfortunately for Hazza, not able to get that treasure, but still is around to contest any other treasures that Eric might go for. Does have vision sort of every area. Ooh, goats unfortunately getting converted back to snow via free tag, the pet macaque.
Oh wow, that's nice. Yeah, this is good. Snow, you wouldn't expect Germany to be leading on goats, so he's probably really pleased with himself, especially since he managed to get, 50 wood and 40 wood. He managed to not have his treasure stolen. So actually, I'd say the German player winning Age 1 so far, which is quite peculiar for Germany. I'd expect them to have a hard time against the Sioux Explorer.
Yeah, we're gonna have to eat those words as the Sioux Explorer picks up his 80 food here.
$3 and a penny. Now stop it. Also, here's to Hazza reverse sweeping snow. So thank you, Cammy. Let's see if Snow can get some. See if Hazza can get some more wins on the board. What were you saying? Still ahead on Hazza, still ahead on goats, but yes, the Sioux able to pick up 80 food, which is a nice treasure, and moving on to 35. These macaques going to be no match for him.
Yeah, actually, there's not a lot of super valuable treasures left on the map. 35 food is going to be picked up by Sioux, but other than that, there's not a lot left for either player to really go for. It looks like Eric is going to be working on this 80 XP, which will, of course, be nice for Germany, but overall is not sort of the most valuable treasure in the game, especially at the cost of 3 leopards. So I think there is a slight advantage in H1 going to the Sioux player here, who is also aging a villager early, by the way, and is now gathering resources, not for trading posts. Looks like he maybe is going for a trading post. I'm not sure. He was going for it. He was standing next to that TP, but then he decided to drop TPs in base, TP and TP. I will endeavor to say trading post more often in games where Sioux is being played. But now that he has dropped 2 TPs, he will be gathering up resources to drop a trading post. And on the other side, Eric has not yet opted to drop a TP, perhaps just wanting to get a little bit of scouting done, make sure there's not going to be any weird forward villager shenanigans or anything like that. And we've seen Eric actually play this matchup earlier in this tournament. I don't remember who against who it was. Maybe Jeramuno, I want to say. And he actually started with Ulans in that game, which is sort of not a standard sort of style I think a lot of people would go with against Sioux, just because Sioux have access to bow riders, and their cav is really fast, so going cavalry yourself is really difficult to do without losing all of that cavalry, but it looks like he is going to be gathering gold, so he may start Ulans and just sort of go for that raid-heavy style that he went for against Jeramuno earlier in the tournament. It's also dropping the middle trading post, which will give him a little bit more time, maybe if Sioux decides to siege that instead of raid.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where he goes with this. But I think we can say Snow actually did win Age 1 despite being Germany. He got 5 goats to 2, and although actually I suppose the Sioux Explorers reasonably good treasures. But let's switch on over to shipments sent here. 3 villagers coming out from the Sioux player, followed by 5. So going to go with this sort of early economic style here. Not going to be aggressive, no forward war hut, no super early corral or anything like that. It has gone up now though, and we'll see some units being trained. Hunting dogs just coming in for both players. So
yeah, so it looks like it's actually going to be crossbows instead of Ulans coming out for Germany here. So that's definitely different from what he's done before. Hazza, however, did scout the racks, so he does know that infantry is available here. Unfortunately, did get caught with that Explorer. Does get away, though, being as fast as he is. And villagers coming down for both players. So looks like a pretty standard start so far for both players. Likely just going to see a little bit of skirmishing in Colonial here before both civilizations opt to advance to the fortress age.
Yeah, both players going with early villager shipments there. Germany going to get that super efficient 3 settler wagons out. And here we see 4 axe riders from that corral meeting up with the Sioux war chief so they can move super quickly. So there's 2 all-arm, which want to do so a little bit of raiding. Could be a little bit vulnerable if that explorer does see them. I think, yeah, that's going to happen here. So Snow, got to be careful. This is going to be a good pickup for Hazza. Yes, he's going to be able to take out both of those cav nice and quickly and get ahead a little bit on this early game here. Green villager, no, that's a red villager nearby. He's coming out to do a bit of herding. I thought, perhaps, yeah, that would be peculiar if it really was a green villager there. But, yes, Doppelsodner's in queue at the barracks for Green here. Has a few crossbows out as well, and obviously the Ulan from the shipments here. Red going to be able to pick up some more Ulans. So Hazza are going to be in a really nice... He's going to be really liking this. Interjections appendix. Miss you, man. Yeah. Yes, I was in hospital. I had my appendix out. I was there for 7 days, which was quite a long time. I no longer have an appendix.
Oh, but the cav running into the dops here.
Yes, that's... Yeah. Does manage to get away. Hazza's going to be quite pleased. He picked up 4 Ulans and then didn't get caught by these Doppelsodden. So, looking good.
Yeah, sorry to trivialize the loss of your friendly neighborhood appendix there, but these Dops are going to be spotting this warhead here. It looks like they are actually going to be taking it down. They do siege that very, very quickly, and that's really unfortunate for Hazza. Does still have the wood to replace that warhead, but unfortunately it's not going to be as aggressively placed as maybe he would have liked, unless he does choose to sort of sneak it around somewhere. His villager looks to be walking off to the left side of the map, so I'm not sure that he will be placing it forward.
Bit of a double raid here. Got some bow riders coming in on one side, axe riders on the other. Green now coming back there, the crossbowmen and the Doppelsodden splitting up to deal with this. Settlers coming out to get back to work. Doesn't look like any villagers were killed, but a nice attempt there. Oh, $2.02. Waste more money to make people mad. Stanley Winston.
Thank you for the donation. So, Axe Rider's kind of getting caught by the Dobbs here. That's gotta hurt a little bit. All of them pretty low HP now. Just gonna be forced away here. But yeah, Warhut is going up back home at the Sioux base now. Not gonna be placing it forward. So, any early tempo he might like in first will be slowed down by quite a bit, having lost that forward Warhut. He's also not going to be able to contest that middle TP as easily as maybe he would have liked. Looks like he might start sieging it now with a couple of... Nope, not going to siege it with a couple of Ragsfires. I'm going to take that back. But yeah, pretty good start for German so far, I would say. He doesn't have a lot of food left in his base, but there's, of course, not a lot of units left for Sioux, and of course, without that forward warhead, he won't be putting on a lot of pressure in early fortress either, so he should be sitting pretty happy at the moment. So, I guess the question is, what is the game plan for Sioux moving forward here?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, because, you know, Snow, he's got steel traps in, he's got, you know, hunting dogs, obviously. Basically, he's got a bunch of market upgrades. But Sioux, okay, he can't stay colonial forever, keep doing this, unless he can continue raiding. $5 from Comic K. Don't read this donation. Interjections too late, sorry for that. But, yes, that is the case. He's up to the Fortress Age. What is the game plan for Sioux?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure. He is going to be picking up these 2 Ulans rating just now, which is pretty nice for him. But otherwise, it looks like he's just going to have to try and contest map control, the, sort of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The old-fashioned way, where, you don't have that forward warhead in the middle of the map that Sioux usually likes to have, and, you just sort of keep fighting like skirm on skirm battles. Skirms are in queue for Snow now, so we will probably be seeing a lot of skirmishing in the early fortress here. Yeah, and looks like he's going to be starting to siege that trading post. Doesn't look like Eric's in any position to really try and defend that. But yeah, I don't know that there is a super solid plan for Sioux. For Germany, he just has to continue massing units, continue raiding with his Ulans, which he is now sending another raid off on the right side, And once he has a decent mass of skirms and war wagons, maybe even some additional dops and stuff like that, then I suppose he'll just try to right-click the Sioux base or something like that. But yeah, we'll have to see how the game plays out. Ulans do pick up one villager on the right side. Outposts going down as well on this gold mine for Germany, so not going to be taking any chances of any raids or anything like that, sort of changing the pace of this game. But as I say that, we could be seeing some villagers fall on the south side of the map here.
Yeah, they're pretty vulnerable. Wakina coming in. They've got good range here. Going to pick off a couple of villagers. Certainly one or two are going to die if Snow, though, doesn't notice. That was a convenient amount of HP to have left. Skirmishers popping out of the barracks there. Taking a pop off at these Wakinas and then heading on out. Those Axe Riders trying to chase them down, but notice they're not going to get in too far. Where are the rest of the green units? They're coming back. They were sort of moving forward here. Perhaps they can head off these Axe Riders coming in. Getting close to those dops, that could be...
Popping out onto the Wakina, though. Alright, so that 9 Ulan shipment did get a few Wakina for free, so that is nice for him. I don't know if Sioux can actually afford to take this barracks. Looking like he is going to back off. But yeah, the skirmisher advantage definitely in favor of Germany here. And with the Dops and the war wagons and the decent mass of Ulans here, it doesn't look like Sioux's really going to be able to do a whole lot here. It looks like he's just going to have to back off and sort of concede the fight for now.
Yeah, this there's another outpost up here as well. Gonna siege that down. Okay, so it looks like the Axe Riders and the Doppelsodners, the Dops and the Ulans trying to get in there on the Axe Riders. Looks like the Wakina are gonna have to try and focus them down, but still quite a few left. Actually, only 2 now. They're moving on to the area damage, going to be effective against these low HP skirm units that are all close by. Does finish them all up, but considerably more green stuff here. Explorer does go down, that War Chief. And the Wakina are going to have to get on out of here. Successfully defended. A little bit of a raid coming in. Axe Riders will be coming into the green base. There's no units nearby. He knows that. A couple of skirms have just been trained. They're going to do well against these bow riders here. But Axe Riders definitely able to take out a villager. Let's take a look at that recalculated unit population. Economy very even at the moment, except Germans have better upgrades. Of course, the Sioux don't have access to steel traps. Could even that up a bit more, though. No! 5 Doppelsodners and a couple of Ulans coming out just in time from that outpost to fend off this raid here. Can he get the snare? That Ulan quite close. Does manage to hit that bow rider, pulling that off. But going to pick himself up a nice bow rider there. A couple of Ulans coming in from the side and going to take out these remaining Axe Riders. Raid defended, and only 1 Axe Rider going to get away here. Green in a pretty commanding military lead. About 30 units up here. Could be tough for the Sioux player, especially since the economies are dead even. We've seen crazier things though.
We have indeed a few Wakina getting picked off here, and this is a really tough position to be in as Sioux. He doesn't really have any way to keep up with the skirmisher mass after losing that initial battle. And his villagers are a lot more exposed than Eriksville's. Like, there's not really any way for him to get any raids done or anything like that to get himself back into the game. And being forced off of this hunt right now, this is a really tough position to be in for sure. Military count is heavily in favor for Germany. And yeah, but I guess maybe the one saving grace for him could be that there's not a whole lot of anti-cav here. There's a couple war wagons and a handful of dops. So if he does manage to get a good trade with his cav against this army, that being said, 3 more war wagons coming in, so I'm going to eat my words. Actually, this is actually just going to be tough for him all around. And Wakina not going to get forced upon or anything like that, but does force the Axe Riders to return back to that army. Doesn't want to risk getting caught by those Ulans or anything like that, but yeah, looks like he is sending 1 dog soldier down here just to pick up his explorer. That is going to make his army a little bit more mobile.
Yeah.
But that mobility is not going to help him too much. Just going to help him avoid fights. Not going to help him do any raids or anything like that. His army is simply too small.
It's still worth doing though, right? Especially since it's also 400 HP's worth of just extra stuff in there that he can soak on. But yeah, that speed bonus definitely relevant as well. But as you say, you know, just is it going to be what's going to happen here? Green just has a lot more things. It's really hard to, you know, deal with two kettle support coming in. Two kettle, yes. So 14 skirt. That's going to swing things. That's quite a lot of units he's just gotten all at once, plus an upgrade to the Wakina rifles.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good shipment for him in this situation. That is going to help even up the skirmisher mass a little bit. And he could potentially start taking some of these trades now. Unfortunately, his composition is not very well rounded at the moment, so it's still looking quite good for Germany, but it definitely helps put him back on the board. And Snow looks like just playing it slowly, waiting for just the right number of units. He's got a lot of anti-cav now, so he's not going to be fearing any sort of dog operation. But that being said, Ulan's coming in.
Yeah, this is a bit of a... You know, so we've got the Ulan versus the Axe Riders here, but with the Black Riders in the back, those red cav are just going to melt away really fast. TP's being slammed down to get that HP bonus there, but only going to get a couple of them up before the villagers can go down there. The Ulan's now moving on to the skirmishers. Those Wakina going to be having to deal with those. And in the back there, all of this ranged stuff. The Black Riders, the crossbows, the skirmishers, the war wagons just providing covering fire on top. And those red units just going to melt away. That is the end of the series. Snow progresses through to the grand finals. Thank you, Danderspot, for the 100 cheer. Bring it back, Hazza. I'm afraid Hazza has been eliminated.
Has been eliminated. Yeah, very nice showing from Eric. A lot of like really strong performances in these games. I don't think he was really ever at a disadvantage in any game except for maybe the first game, where he overcommitted a little bit. But the last 4 games for sure definitely looked very decisive in a lot of them.
Yeah, very well done to Snow. Going to be heading on to the grand finals where he gets that guaranteed second place prize. He could be first though, you know, certainly that. Hazza, it does leave the tournament, but he will leave with the third place split, so a little bit of a prize there for him. And thank you for some good games. It's been a close series, but the betting statistics won out slightly. Let me just sort of show you them. We've got here. It was slightly in favour of Snow to win this. That's what the community thought, and did result in a Snow victory overall. But nice start from Hazza, but didn't manage to follow it through. A 4-1 victory overall to Snow. So there is certainly that.